من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. بسم الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. My brothers and sisters, first of all, let me remind myself and all of you to have a constant remembrance about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have a God consciousness, to have a certain level of taqwa each and every moment of our life, especially when it comes to our personal life. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise and His gratitude to Allah who honored us, who blessed us being chosen as a Muslim. Because we are a Muslim, we had certain level of rituals we're supposed to do. Among that, the one is coming every year is the month of Ramadan. And all of us who are gathered here had a chance to have fasting in the month of Ramadan, 29 days. And all we had a chance to get certain level of taqwa in our body, in our soul. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Fasting has been prescribed to you. Fasting has been written to you as it written to the generations before you. What was the purpose? Just to become a pious person. Just to have certain level of piety. Piety, or in other words, the taqwa, is not something reserved for the sheikhs. It's not something reserved for the dying. The taqwa, a level of iman, a level of God consciousness, a level of God remembrance can achieve by every single human being. Your fasting means that you had certain level of taqwa. By fasting, you control your actions. By fasting, you had a thirst to come to the masjid. By fasting, you control your eyes. By fasting, you control your tongue because you had taqwa. That's the whole purpose of having this whole month of the fasting in the month of Ramadan. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fasting is written to you so that you may become a pious person. Of course, the piety is different from person to person. A normal being has a certain level of piety that is different from the piety or the taqwa which have their big shape. But all human beings have certain level of taqwa. And we already attained that taqwa by fasting, by making qiyam, by making the taraweeh and making the zakah, sadaqah, and we all are in a circumstances of the piety. We all are muttaqin. Then the same ayah, the same section of ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the fasting in Surah Al-Baqarah. At the end of the section, in ayah 185, Allah says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. It's a very interesting ayah. In our perspective, we think that the fasting is so difficult for us. Of course, abstaining from food from Fajr to Maghrib, maybe 14 years or 15 hours, it's difficult for us in our perspective. We have several restrictions. We feel like it's a difficult month for us. But Allah says, Allah intends ease for you. And Allah does not intend difficult for you. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. Allah wants ease for you. In the same session of ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the fasting, which means fasting is easy for you. And Allah don't want make it difficult fasting for you. This is actually a very basic principle of Islam. Islam want the people make easy things, not difficult. But unfortunately, human beings make the difficult religion. Originally, the religion itself is easy, but people make the difficult. People put the very unfounded rule, very, very strange rules. You cannot go here, you cannot look there. But in principle, Islam is easy. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here. Allah wants ease for you and does not want difficult for you. It also includes, as you may feel already, at the beginning of the month of Ramadan, you had certain difficulty. Maybe the first 1 or 2 days. And after that it became a routine. Then you don't feel at all that you don't drinking or you don't eating all the day time. This is another level of making easy. And also this ayah also included the meaning that if you're traveling or if you're sick or if you have certain valid reason, you don't need to fast. That's another level of making easy. As it's same applicable to the salah or any other rituals as well. You don't need to go for Hajj if you don't have money or if you don't have the health. That's making things easy. If you have it, you go. And if you're traveling, you had an option to make two prayer together, jump. Or you make it short and qasr. And there are many such like the excuses, valid excuses that are in Islam, in the Islamic principle. These all things include يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Then after that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the ayah, وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. Complete your counts, which means complete the month of Ramadan, and لِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, and proclaim the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He had guided you. He had gave a chance to reflect upon you in the month of Ramadan. He had gave a chance to make a sincere repentance in the month of Ramadan. And He had gave a chance to witness the Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. More than 1,000 months is roughly equal to 82 years. A normal human being's lifespan. Because He chooses you as a Muslim, because He guided you as a Muslim, you had a chance to take advantage of all these single things that maybe happen in the month of Ramadan. Whatever the actions you do in the month of Ramadan, you had a chance to get the 10 times or several 10 times. Because you are in the final 10 days of in the Ramadan, you had a chance to witness the Laylatul Qadr. And you had a chance to reflect upon yourself and make a sincere repentance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This all happened because we are blessed, we are honored being as a Muslim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, proclaim, say the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. This is the very reason why we say Allahu Akbar, especially after the month of Ramadan. Which also have a second meaning. It's not merely just saying Allahu Akbar. It's also testifying something. Because in the month of Ramadan, we testify, you are the great Lord, and your rules are the superior, your rules are the dominating things, so we don't care our desires. We don't care our wants. Maybe in Ramadan, we have certain other programs, we have business meetings, we have other activities. But because in Ramadan, we avoid that one, we make the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we testify the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we testify the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the Sharia, that is Islamic rules, are the higher than my desires. So we made an option to take advantage of Ramadan. Because we testify Allah. The same reason, after the month of Ramadan, we should not go back. We should not go back to our our desires after the month of Ramadan. Because the same greatness is still valid before Ramadan or after Ramadan or in Ramadan. Because He is Hayyul Qayyum. Allah, He don't have any change. He don't sleep. He don't born. He was not born by someone. He is constant. And the same Allah who is hearing our desires, who is hearing our forgiveness, who is accepting our prayers, who is accepting our fasting in Ramadan, He is ready to accept in the other month as well. That also includes the meaning of Allahu Akbar. Because we gave priority, we gave the priority of greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ramadan. So the same have to do in other months as well, after the Ramadan as well. So when we say Allahu Akbar, we have to ponder upon it. This is actually what we are saying. We gave priority in Ramadan, your desires, your want, your regulation, and we are ready to do the same things in after Ramadan also. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Then at the ayah finished, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. So that you may be grateful. By proclaiming the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by making the complete 30 days or 29 days in the month of Ramadan, having fasting, you may be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How we can make it thankful to Allah? Being in Japan is a very common culture. For a very simple reason, we say arigato. That's kind of habit in our case. That since we are living in Japan, we habituated with the Japanese culture. We don't mind to say even for our kid. That may not be the case in India or in Pakistan, back in our country. We don't say thank to our kids if they do something for us. But we do in Japan. Because we overwhelm the culture of Japan. How we can make the thanking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How we can do that? It's not merely simply say thank you. Because that's not like suitable for His Majesty. Saying thank you is something with you and me, or between you and your friends, or between you and your kids or your relatives. You say thank you very much. You appreciate the help which He gave to you. But the level or the style of thanking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to obey His commandment, is to obey His rules. How you can do that? You yourself prove that you can do it. You are very regular in the 5 times daily prayers in the month of Ramadan. You never miss the prayer. You prove that you can control your tongue. You prove that you can control your eyes when you see something not halal which is going in the street. You shut down your eyes. You easily remember like, yeah, I am fasting, I am in Ramadan. So I have to shut down. I have to look down. Which prove that you can do it. And whatever the difficulty you have, whatever the inconvenience you have, whatever the business stuffs you have, still you made time to come to the masjid for attending the prayer. Which says that no matter how busy you are, you can do it. And these are the ways by prioritize the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and prioritize the worship towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the way of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dear my brothers and sisters, once again I wanted to remind you, the same Allah who witnessed our prayers, our fasting, our zakat, our controlling, our level of taqwa in month of Ramadan is expecting from us to do the same in the other month as well. That's why it says it's kind of a training period, the month of Ramadan. What do you do in a training? If you're selected for a police officer, you will have a certain level of training. Let's say 2 months or 3 months. That's too intensive. That may not be too relaxing. So that you attain all the level of training during this 2-month period, so that you can act in a real scenario. Take the example of a fireman. Especially in Japan, I saw that those people who are doing this training maybe every week or every single days in a demo style. They take the long stairs and they climb into the wall. They're getting practicing so that when a fire is somewhere, they can do quickly. That's the same thing. In these 30 days, you attain these practices, you get ready, because after Ramadan, there will be so many devotees, there will be so many desires, it will come, the real scenario will come, then you will have a time to relax it, you will have a time to do it. So attaining this training period, the level of taqwa, the level of piety, the level of praying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the level of sincerity, the level of like the giving zakat, giving sadaqah, this all you're supposed to act after Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala included in the people who are understanding the whole year as a worship of the year. And also, although the 30 days or the 29 days of the fasting is finished, but you still have fasting. You have fasting at least in the 6 days of Shawwal, which roughly count together with the month of Ramadan as if you are fasting all of the years. Just 6 days in the Shawwal. You continuously days, 30 days or 29 days, it's so easy to do 6 days. That not necessarily be consecutive 6 days. You can take 2 days or 1 day and then after take a rest 2-3 days and then or you take every Monday or Thursday or you take every weekend. Anyhow, if it is happen to be in the month of Shawwal, then you will have a huge reward. By combining this, the 1 month's fasting in the month of Ramadan and the 6 days of fasting in Shawwal, that together will count in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you are fasted all of the year. The prayer named Taraweeh is finished, but the Qiyamul Layl or the night prayer is still. The congregational level of Taraweeh that usually happen at the masjid after Isha prayer is finished maybe, but still you can do the prayer at your home at night after the Isha. It's still valid. It's still included. It's called the Qiyamul Layl. When it comes to the Ramadan, it says the Taraweeh. Although the compulsory Zakatul-Fitr, that is finished, and I also wanted to remind you, if you not paid the Zakatul-Fitr, you have to do before the Salah. If you are doing after the Salah, it will not count as a Zakatul-Fitr. It simply counts as a Sadaqah. So you make sure that you already paid the Zakatul-Fitr. And the Sadaqah is valid throughout the year. So every single action that happened in the month of Ramadan is continuing in other months as well. And the best way of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by continuing all the actions which you do in the month of Ramadan in other months as well. And also wanted to remind you, if you have any problems with your brother or with your family, this is the day a Muslim celebrate. The Muslim should be with the full of joy, with full of hope, with full of entertainment mood. So don't make the difficulty with your brothers, with your families, with your relatives. If any of you have certain problem, this is the day you have to settle it. You just make a phone call and say sorry, or just talk each other and just congratulate each other so that you combine together, celebrate the day of Eid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala include the people who celebrate the Eid in the best way as it portrayed in the Quran and the Sunnah. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك مجيب الدعوات يا قاضي الحاجات. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.